Piara, very nice to have you here as a man that's been integral to the works of Kick It Out over the last 25 years. I'm asking everybody the same question. Where were we? Where are we now?
It's a good question. We were in a place which was much worse than now, and I think we'll probably have to wait another few years to really have a good idea of where that was. But we know actually that many of the issues that are being discussed, talked about, are mainstream now, were very marginal then. I remember when I started to Kick It Out, just introducing myself as someone who was working for this campaign, people were looking at me like I was a member of the Black Panthers. That is the 60s civil rights organisation.
Not those folk from Wakanda.
No. And you know, so I think the journey's been long. There's a long way to go still if you look at the things that need to be done. Don't let anybody tell us otherwise. But yes, I think the scene generally, the acceptance of the issues, some of the action has been taken. It's a very different place, almost unrecognisable in some places.
I was going to say, what for you would be, I know there's many, but one of the, or two of the significant things that have changed, evolved since the beginning. And if there were one or two significant things that you'd like to yet see evolve, what would they be?
Well, I would say one of the most significant things is that players have found their voice. And that's important. Players are now understand that they are big actors and they don't have to take the sort of stuff that their predecessors were taking, the generation before was taking. Now, of course, when you let players loose in that way, so to speak, when you hear their voice, you'll know that sometimes they're not going to tell you what you want to hear. But nevertheless, that's been an important development. I think in the future we'd like to see more people who understand the wider agenda in the higher echelons of the game, running things a little bit, understanding actually the contribution the minority communities have made, whether it's at the highest professional level or at the grassroots of the game. I mean, there's some parts of the country, I would say, where it's minority communities that have sustained the game. There would not be the sport of 11-a-side football in those communities if they hadn't been involved and dragged it along.
How integral, The Voice newspaper celebrates 35 years in existence. How integral have they been to Kick It Out's journey along the way?
Well, listen, I've been working with The Voice for about 25 years or so, and I've seen how important it's been over the years because it gave a voice to the black community and now to all different minority communities, and I think that's very important. I remember on many issues knowing that The Voice would at least pick up the phone, would drop a quote into the paper from you, would take the story, where many others wouldn't. I've known through working with Rodney, with yourself, you know, that it's always good to have supportive people there from the media. It's always good to have people there who are giving you feedback, always good to be able to work with people as colleagues, as friends, and understanding actually this is a movement. It's not one or two people involved, it's a wider movement.
You're in Russia for the World Cup. I'd imagine there's going to be lots of work to do, convincing people of the change that needs to come. I'm not talking about off the pitch. You looking forward to it?
I'm looking forward to Russia quite a lot. I've been there quite a lot. It's an interesting place. It's sometimes a dangerous place, a hairy place to be. But at the same time, you know, it has its charms as well. And it has interesting stories. And I think the question for us is, can we make those interesting stories our stories, not the negative ones, not the difficult ones? And a lot of that's down to the Russian people, how they receive players on the pitch, how they receive crowds, how they receive audiences going to Russia. But let's see. Ask me again in 2 months' time.
Thanks for your time, Piara. Appreciate it.
Cheers, always a pleasure.